Tinoti manheru akanaka muri Zimbabwe. Tauya nenyaya yaJob Scala akanyorerwa bhuku nema-authors. So vanyori vemabhuku ava varipo nhasi zvinzi remeka vachitaura.
When I was about to launch the Performance Cartel, don't want to say welcome back from college, eh? And I've also written about this man who has been in college for more than 69 times. So yeah, thank you so much and welcome viewers.
For the compliments. You know, when you are going to be editing a story about Job Scala, be prepared for the long haul. I was pleasantly surprised when Munya began the story in a village. You know, Munya is a good storyteller. So he starts the story in a village, and I'm already fixated on Job's political career because I know him from way back. But I was supposed to feel humbled because I needed to be controlled. And I also needed to control the pressure or the emotional outburst that I know Munya about. So he starts as a village boy, like any other person, you know, herding cattle. And like any other child, he goes to secondary school. But I could already sense certain signals that I was reading about a boy who was going to make a difference in people's life, you know. But you could already sense a certain rebellion in this character that was emerging, you know, at school, and his relationships with his fellow villagers. Then Munya does something clever. He says, "No, I want to move you from this setting to the next setting at university, but I'm going to come back because I'm used to continuity, you know." But the fact that he quickly brought us into the frame of student activism, it now prepares the reader. And for me, it now also gives me an opportunity to tone down, because Munya is a preacher, you know, blessed is a preacher. So you know how preachers, they say a lot of things. So sometimes it was necessary to repackage, you know, the message around his character. But we go back to the village, and then he talks about his experiences. Then suddenly, I have to contend with the fact that this man wanted to be a preacher. You know, remember, I know Job as a politician. Now I need to think carefully. How do I don't want to mess up that transition, that mental transition that people have of Job as a politician and as a preacher. But I was lucky because I then edited a scenario where he failed to be a preacher. So it was easier for me. It was going to be very difficult for me to contextualize Job as a preacher had he done a lot. But I then said to him, I can't remember whether I said to him or to Munya, that no, I'm sure when Job was still had these ecclesiastical, you know, hallucinations, that's what I call them, there was a favorite song that he had in his mind. And I said to him, "Job, can you give me the song that you used to like most?" Because I want to put it there as well. Because it completes this picture of a person who wanted to be a preacher. I didn't ask for a verse in his mind because I wanted to leave that to Munya if he thought about it. Then of course, then we come back to college, his life as an activist with Zinasu, which Munya went into great detail, specific details that I'd never heard of. And then of course from then on, how then he transited into the formation of the MDC and the levels at which he was there. And all along, I'm very careful to ensure that I kind of like cut out the verbiage that comes with emotional writing. Because like I said, that this is a storyteller who is used to political fiction, but now he's confronted by real life. So I wanted to make sure that we don't disappoint our readers by being over dramatic and putting in literary stunts that our readers might not appreciate, because they need to say, no, this is real. Then of course from within the MDC formation, he gets back into parliament and the GNU, and there are specific things that I was also on the lookout for things like the More Blessing issue, the conflicts, including his electoral campaigns and so forth.
They're captured in this book.
They are captured in this book. And we had to make sure that the narration is also compatible with because some of the things Munya was actually referencing to published materials. So we wanted to make sure that when he's mentioning names, those names that he mentions are compatible with what has already been published. But of course, I was not prepared for the pain and suffering that I went through. The chapter where he was talking about this torture, the inside Mugabe's chamber, and I'm sure Munya is going to talk about it quite as well, and himself as well.